the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves, has been speaking about economic growth in the UK, including the redevelopment of Manchester United's Old Trafford. Well, to discuss this in more detail, I've been joined by senior reporter Geraint Hughes. Afternoon to you, Geraint. So just to explain exactly what the Chancellor has had to say and how it impacts the Greater Manchester Authority's plans for regenerating the Old Trafford area.
If you're an executive of Manchester United today, you knew this news was coming, but even then, they're happy, because this is an effective green light backing to go ahead with a wider regeneration of Old Trafford. I think the first things here is to make really, really clear is this does not mean, from the government backing Old Trafford regeneration, the stadium. It means everything. The wide area is going to be completely transformed. There are some freight areas which are going to move, because obviously you've got the canals and the waterways around there, new housing, retail, leisure, public infrastructure and, NHS services, etc., etc. A part of it which is either to build a new Old Trafford, new stadium for Manchester United, or a refurbished Old Trafford. That, though, will have to be funded entirely by Manchester United, the stadium. The estimates range if it's going to be a new stadium for around £2 billion. But what today means, when you've got the Chancellor, who today was talking about economic growth, she was talking about things like Heathrow's third runway, and when you hear Old Trafford in the same speech as that, that means it's a serious deal. And what this does is it backs the Greater Manchester Authority, the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, their plans to regenerate the area. Now, there is a task force already looking into the stadium, but also the wider area. That's kind of spearheaded by Andy Burnham, but is chaired, the actual task force, is chaired by Seb Coe, who actually is going to be a busy man at the moment, because he's got an IOC presidency to worry about at the moment. Gary Neville is on it as well. This will stop any blocking, interference, delays that central government could bring to that wider plan. That's why it's good news for Manchester United, because in terms of where they're going to find the money, whether they get it from private investment, loans from banks, wherever, it's a less risky investment. It's going to be a huge regeneration project, a public one, of which there will be some private investment, of which then Old Trafford is going to be a part of it as well. So anyone that Manchester United can be looking for in investment, this becomes something that's very attractive, much more attractive than it were, say, for example, those plans that Andy Burnham and the Greater Manchester Authority didn't have for wider regeneration were slammed down, put into the long grass. So it's an effective green light to go ahead. We're not there yet. There's a long way to go. But this certainly, over the weekend, it was we knew the Chancellor was going to say this, but she's confirmed it today in a speech as well, that she backs Andy Burnham's, the Greater Manchester Mayors and the Greater Manchester Authority, all their plans, and that includes, at the centrepiece, a new or refurbished stadium for Manchester United. And if anyone's, I know what the next question could be, so I'll just get there. What is it? When are we going to know about the stadium? Well, that task force has met last year, continues to meet now. They're expected to make a decision by the summer whether it is going to be a brand new, roughly £2 billion stadium, or whether they're going to refurbish Old Trafford for around an 87,000 capacity. So those are the options on the table. It just makes getting to either of those options, getting them on the table, getting them become reality, much, much easier today.
Yeah, and you said the summer, so in terms of a timeline, you said still a long way to go, but that is essentially what happens next.
Yeah, that's the timeline in terms of a decision from the task force as to what they're going to proceed with, whether it's going to be a brand new stadium or a refurbished stadium. A brand new stadium would be bigger, be 100,000, and I think that's the preferred option of the minority owner of Manchester United, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I think that's what he wants, and I think probably today, listen, I'm not in the rooms, but I watch enough of how this works. Today's announcement would lead me, if I was a betting man, and it's 50-50, to lead towards a new stadium. If the wider regeneration project's going to go ahead, why have a refurbishment? Why not go for the brand new option if the finances can be arranged? The other thing on the timescale which makes this potentially easier, the whole wider regeneration, that's because there's going to be a new planning and infrastructure bill coming in the spring. That will make planning applications for the whole area maybe, to be smooth, easy to get through, a relaxation of environmental rules, which has not gone down well with some, but again, could make the planning applications easier, and also the opening up of a national wealth fund. That will help public monies be transferred to that wider regeneration. I said, if that happens, that goes ahead, it's a much more attractive investment for Old Trafford Stadium and for Manchester United.
Brilliant stuff, Geraint. Thank you very much for now.